And that opens the door to a lot of magic. And that magic is stuff that transcends anything I can ever put into words. It goes beyond anything the logical mind could ever fathom or convey. It's resonance at a soul level. If we look in a mirror and we see a story of a human experience, then we are not seeing the inner experiencer of divine consciousness. If we look in a mirror and there's projections of stories about the experience or restrictions in the ability to encounter any morsel of unconditional love, then the body-mind navigation is actually hiding the self rather than effectively supporting the true self. When you look in a mirror, who do you see and how do you see them? Do you see a projection of all of the stories of everything that you've ever experienced before? Do you see a projection about a story of what you're experiencing now? Or can you see the actual essence of who you are? Can you feel the profound presence of your own authentic soul self? Can you taste the deliciousness of the essence of who you are, independent of body-mind navigation and independent of the constraints of the human experience as it has unfolded thus far? When you look in a mirror, can you see yourself without any navigational interjections from the body-mind regarding any past or present or potential moment of unfulfilled attachment needs? Can you experience yourself with unconditional love? Because when there are moments where we look in a mirror and we see a self in relation with the projections of body-mind navigation, or in relation with the projections of what's happening or has happened in the human experience, then the body-mind is interjecting itself and actually concealing the parts of consciousness that are the true essence of self. Okay? When we look in a mirror, and the way that we instinctively see ourselves is a projection from the body-mind about experiences or about, stuff like that, or just perspectives or perceptions. If we look in a mirror and we just see a body, or if we look in our face and just see a projection of how the self perceives itself to be based on the navigation of the body-mind that has been created throughout past experiences, or if we can't actually sense an energy of unconditional love, then there's data in the body-mind correlated with unfulfilled attachment needs, and that information is actually hiding who the self really is. Okay? If there's body-mind navigation regarding any unfulfilled attachment needs, whether you know about them or not, but if there's projections about stories or an identity in relation with experience, or you can't feel unconditional love, or you just see kind of a body without actually seeing the self who is within the experience of being inside of this body, then there's body-mind navigation, and it's actually hiding who the self really is. Okay. When attachment needs are met, then the body-mind navigation supports the self in being seen for itself. But if there's any moments of unfulfilled attachment needs in the body-mind navigation, because of past experiences or anything that might be unfolding, if there's any hint of unfulfilled attachment needs throughout the navigation of the body-mind, then the navigation is actually going to hide the parts of the self. But if there's attachment well-being in the body-mind navigation, then that navigation supports the self in being seen for who it really is. Okay? And so if we look in a mirror and we just see a story, right? Any story, any aspect of experience, right? Whether that's past or present or potential, any aspect of experience that holds any story, whether that's in a narrated dialogue summary or not, if we look in a mirror and we see a story of a human experience, then we are not seeing the inner experiencer of divine consciousness. Okay? If we look in a mirror and we see a projection of a human story, then we are not seeing the inner experiencer of divine consciousness. And if we look in a mirror and there's something blocking or restricting or limiting or reducing the capacity for the body-mind to navigate the essence of the self in a way that creates space to feel and experience unconditional love and pure presence, then the body-mind isn't wired in a way that supports the divine essence of consciousness. Okay? If we look in a mirror and we can't experience unconditional love for the essence of the self who is actually right here, not necessarily, it's not an egoic conditional love like, man, I've got great shoulders. It's not like that. It's an unconditional love where, like, no matter what you look like, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what you're going through, you connect with the essence of you who actually is within the experience, connecting with the inner experiencer, not the experience. And there's just space to give and receive unconditional love to those parts of the self. Okay? It's an unconditional love. It's a pure love. It's a potent love. It's a sacred love. Okay? If we look in a mirror and there's projections of stories about the experience or restrictions in the ability to encounter any morsel of unconditional love, then the body-mind navigation is actually hiding the self rather than effectively supporting the true self. And as we explore the way the body-mind navigates life, when we look into mirrors, we can actually unveil everything that's happening deeper within. And in that process, we can unveil different parts of the self who we might not have been able to connect with otherwise. If we do an inward meditation where our eyes are closed, that gets into some parts of the consciousness and some parts of the body-mind wiring, but not all of it. And if we do, XYZ healing stuff or mindfulness practices or this and that, those are all obviously amazing things to definitely enjoy and invest in. Yes, yes, yes. But they don't connect us with all of the self and all of the body-mind navigation. And through mirrors, we can really dive so much deeper into all of it and unveil stuff that we never expected or we never imagined possible. And in the process of unveiling hidden realities of this body-mind navigation, we come face to face with different parts of ourselves that we've maybe never met before or have never seen for who they really are, because they've only been able to experience life from a limited space of unfulfilled attachment needs. Or maybe these parts of the self have never known who they are from a perspective of unconditional love. Or maybe these parts of the self has never known who they are beyond the restrictions of what has been experienced. And so there's so many parts of the self, but we don't get to know those parts of the self just navigating experience the way we normally do most of the time. And mirrors just open up such a profound door to see more than we've ever seen of who we are, and to unveil and transform and liberate and expand more of the being that is deeper within our being. And that opens the door to a lot of magic. And that magic is stuff that transcends anything I can ever put into words. It goes beyond anything the logical mind could ever fathom or convey. It's a resonance at a soul level. It's a resonance that is deeper than anything you can imagine. And it's like there were all these human stories and all this stuff and all this pain and all this disruption of navigation, and then suddenly you walk through this door and it's this pure essence of the soul self, unrestricted by any of it, and there's a freedom to experience the love that is the true nature of the self, and that love instantly dissolves everything else. It's so powerful and so sacred. So I invite you to explore, how deeply can you see yourself when you look in a mirror? How deeply can you love yourself when you look in a mirror? How deeply can you invest pouring love into yourself in a sacred moment of presence where there is no past, there is no future, and there are no experiences. There's just a present moment of pouring unconditional love into the inner experiencer of your divine consciousness. There's just a moment of helping parts of you feel their attachment needs being met by your own self. And in that space, how deeply can you feel? How deeply can you let love into your heart? How deeply can you let go of anything that feels like less than love? How deeply can you expand the space of your heart to experience love? Your own unconditional love that is the truth of the identity of the soul self essence. How deeply can you expand into presence where you let go of the need to make sense of anything that's happened before, and you let go of the need to control anything that might be unfolding, and you just let a present moment be a present moment, and you give that gift to yourself and you let it be enough. And when you look in a mirror, how deeply can you see the essence of yourself, who is transcendent of the human experience? How deeply can you see the essence of yourself that wants to know who it is beyond what it has experienced thus far? How deeply can you see the essence of yourself regardless of how body-mind navigation has ever been wired or affected personal realities? How deeply can you see yourself for who you are and not who you thought you were? So I just invite you to explore this. And if this journey resonates with you, if any of these soul self truths resonate with you, if mirror play with mirror power resonates with you, if diving deeper into unveiling the body mind and unveiling these parts of the self, and then using the miracle of that unveiling to shapeshift life in miraculous ways, whether it's through a one-time mirror journey or an ongoing Mirrothon practice where you tend to your attachment needs on a regular basis while having fun and playing in mirrors through simple activities. If any of these concepts resonate with you, I invite you to explore my sacred offerings of Mirrothons. I have a couple programs, courses. One's a little shorter, a little simpler, but still really powerful. And one's a bit longer and more complex and a bigger investment. And I also have a playbook where if you just want to hang out in mirrors and have fun, the musical and monologue Mirrothons, and create this transformation in your own way, there's a playbook only that's available. The most sacred of these offerings, I can't say the most sacred, they are all really powerful. I can't say that. I can't say the most sacred. They're all really, really powerful. And creative connections and beautiful. Anyway, if you feel inspired towards these, I also invite you to explore my subconscious unveiling and transformation Mirrothon journey. It is so complex and in-depth and meticulous in terms of the concepts applied in them, but the journey itself is simple and easy and fun, and it is the most powerful thing you can ever imagine. And I do not say that lightly. I do not say that lightly. It is the most powerful thing you can ever imagine. It's the most powerful thing you can ever possibly imagine. And the way it shifts life, because of how it shifts your own existence inside of you, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's the most delicious medicine a soul could ever desire. And it changes the game of life. It creates miracles you couldn't imagine. It reconstructs the body-mind in the most effective and enjoyable way. It shapeshifts how every experience you've ever had affects the way you encounter yourself in your life now. It creates so much magic in such a fun and simple and loving process and practice. It is so powerful and so magical, and I am so honored. I am so deeply honored to be the bearer of this medicine, because it is life-changing, and that is an understatement. It is life-changing. That is an understatement. I invite you to explore all of my offerings through Kristin's Consciousness Consultancy. The best is yet to come, and we have only just begun. This loving liberation invites every soul self into a greater expanse of infinite possibility than we could ever imagine.